So this was the press gaggle on Air Force One today, September 18th of 2025, 3 hours ago. So yeah, all that stuff happened and they posted about it long after he had already taken off. So let's see what happened with this one.
Well, I hope you had a good time, everybody. We had I think it was a really good day and a half. Very intensive. Any questions?
What was the best part? What was the best part of the
I
trip?
don't know. I think being with King Charles, he's a wonderful guy. Got to know him very well. I knew him before, but now
Yeah, and I appreciate that, Clipper.
The artwork.
Thank you for telling me.
I saw more paintings than any human being has ever saw, and statues, but they treated us great. They treated our country great. And that, I view that as being
Yeah, because he recently went to the
really
United
respect for our
Kingdom,
country the way they
spent
did.
some time with King Charles and the royal family,
And
did a whole lot of stuff
you
out
had
there.
the biggest business people in the world there. That was respect for our country. Yeah.
Mr. President, have you had conversations with I'm trying to start. Have you had conversations with Secretary Rubio or any of your military leaders about possible regime change in Venezuela?
No, I haven't.
You haven't had any discussions about plans or how to make it happen?
No, I haven't.
Mr. President, you mentioned in your remarks at the press conference something about Bagram and bringing it back to the U.S.
I'd like to get Bagram back.
You know, I plan to do that, sir.
Oh yeah, that's right. So he talked about it today, I think, about possibly having an interest in getting Bagram Air Base back in Afghanistan, which would be that would be a pretty interesting turn of events.
They need a lot from us, and I'd like to get it back. It should have never been given. Bagram should have never been given the air base. That was gross incompetence to give that up. It's one of the most powerful bases in the world in terms of runway strength and length. The strength and length. You could land anything on there. You could land a planet on top of it. Can you imagine they gave it up for nothing? Just, let's leave.
Could land a
And
planet.
it's an hour away from where they...
Yeah, that's the thing about Bagram Air Force or Bagram Air Base was established in a way that they could land any aircraft that the U.S. has on the runway because of the strength of the runway and the length of it, like he was talking about. So it is a very strategic location, although I'm not 100% certain, other than he's mentioned something about China having like their nuclear technology and other things like that. I think in a close proximity in China. I'm not sure if that's the reason or if there's like another strategic reason behind it.
make their missiles China.
Mr. President,
Yeah.
it's been a month since you're meeting with Putin. Is it time to call for a ceasefire? It's been a month since you're meeting with President Putin. Is it time for a ceasefire to come?
Doesn't feel like it. But at the right time, if I have to do it, it'll be harsh.
What's up, Reynoso?
Mr. President, a question on something you said earlier this week. You said,
Mr. President, regarding Antifa.
Oh yeah,
regarding
Antifa.
what you posted. NPR, sir. When
Where they gone?
regarding
Are they still here?
they are?
Are they still here? Oh, good. Congratulations.
Regarding designating them a terrorist organization, when they don't have
What's going
defined
on?
leadership or membership, how do you target them?
Who doesn't?
Antifa.
We're going to find out, right? We're going to see. People have been talking about it for a long time. We're going to see. Did they have anything to do with your network? Okay. Well, we're going to find out. Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. President, you said earlier this week that the women who yelled at you, who were protesting when you were at Joe Stone Crab, should be in jail. Do you actually think that that is an offense that deserves jail
I
time?
don't know how they got in there, but certainly I thought it was very inappropriate. And they said things that were very, and it was a question of when you take a look at the way they acted, the way they behaved. Yeah, I think they were a threat.
And you think that deserves
You
jail?
agree with it?
I think they're a nasty organization.
But you think they
Go
deserve
ahead.
jail?
Well, I don't know. What should Congress focus on? What are your top priorities with Congress?
We're going to finish the wars. We have a couple of them going, as you know. You look at Gaza, you look at Russia, Ukraine. We're working on that, and I'm working with Congress on. But I think we'll get it. You know, we did do 7. We actually did more than 7, which people don't like to talk about. But I say that and the economy, always the economy. Especially bringing down the oil further. If we get the oil down, the wars that war ends.
Here's a subject that I don't think a lot of people talk about. I've been talking to a lot of American truck drivers in the last couple of weeks, and I'm asking them what their biggest concern is.
Right.
They tell me some of these foreign truck drivers, they come to schools here in America, Utah and California to be specific.
Right.
They get fast tracked through the system.
Truck drivers.
A lot of them don't speak English, which I know you did an EO about speaking English. But they're causing a dangerous situation on the road.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
don't
they're
like
telling me. I don't know what we can do about it.
I don't like it. I see the one, he had the accident, couldn't read a sign, didn't know what was happening. Yeah, no, I'm not in favor of that at all. Got to speak English.
Yeah, the trucking industry is kind of
said that he would arrest
wild right now.
Benjamin Netanyahu if he comes to New York City because of the ICC warrant.
Would you inappropriate?
Would you intervene if that came up?
Yeah. It's inappropriate.
We asked GBU's viewers the questions they would like to ask of you and the Prime Minister today. The main question was, would you please swap jobs with him? And the second question behind that was really, why are we in the UK moving towards Europe when Europe is failing and America is flying?
Well, look, I think the UK has a tremendous asset known as the North Sea. And it's loaded up with it. They like to say, well, it's really diminished. It's not. And there are lots of areas out there that haven't been found. Look at Norway. It's the same kind of a thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of
They've
ocean
become
up there.
so rich
I mean, it's an island.
that
They're surrounded by ocean.
UK or other parts of Europe to take, especially UK, to buy oil from Norway. And they haven't. But they don't want to do it. If they would drill in the North Sea, if they would let them, they've made it impossible for people.
Do you think it starts with energy?
It's a tremendous asset. And it's tremendously valuable. And there's a lot of oil left. They've been drilling there for a long time, but there's a lot of oil. And there's a lot of oil out there that hasn't been found yet. And with new drilling techniques, when they think a well is closed,
You want them to focus on our food, what's in our food?
techniques, you can drill for another 50 years. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think local farms should definitely be a priority.
They're putting these stupid windmills all over the place. And every time you put up a windmill, it costs the country millions of dollars a year to have that horrible thing turn. It's ugly. It's bad for the environment. It kills the birds. And beyond that, it costs a fortune. And you should make money with energy. You shouldn't lose money. With windmills, you lose.
What we really need to do is we need to invest in nuclear energy. I think a lot of people are. I think a lot of people are on board with that. Like investing in nuclear energy would be, I think, the way to go. I think that's what a lot of people are feeling.
Plastic from China. You ever see what happens to a bird when the birds land? They get fried because it's hot. So
Yeah, I don't know.
Sauce.
I don't know much about nuclear either, but I do think that a lot of my friends said that would be, like people that are much smarter than me have said that that would be like a really good alternative energy source.
I was going to ask, last week in the Oval Office, I asked you about if Ilhan Omar.
I think the people that are skeptical about nuclear energy are worried about the fact that there could be they're concerned that there's going to be like a nuclear meltdown or something if there's a malfunction. But the guys that I know that are much smarter than me about this kind of stuff said that like the technology that's out nowadays for nuclear energy is a lot better than it used to be. And it's actually a lot safer than what a lot of people think. And it would provide immense amounts of energy. So hopefully they'll consider that at some point.
Be censored? Congress censored her. I just want to get your reaction to that.
They did censor it. When did this happen?
Yesterday.
Yeah, good. I think she's terrible. I think she should be impeached. I think she's terrible. Is she originally from Somalia?
I think he's talking about Ilhan Omar.
So how are they doing this? How's their government? Do they have a president? Do they have a
You can have
council?
smaller nuclear
Do they have
plants,
anything? Do they have
which
police?
helps mitigate for
I
large
love these
meltdown.
People that come from a place with nothing.
Yeah, I suppose so.
No anything.
But I don't
And then
know.
they tell us how to run our country. No, I think if she got censured, that's great. If she got impeached, that's even better. They impeached me twice for nothing. And they impeached me knowing the Republicans are on my side, so they knew it was just, but they impeached me twice. She should be impeached, and it should happen fast. What she says is out of line. Yeah, go ahead. Anybody?
Mr. President, who would you like to see?
Go ahead,
Mr. President, are you going to ask Brendan Carr to weigh in on other late-night hosts that you have apps said should be off the
Late
air?
night host is on network television. There is a licensing. I'll give you an example. I read someplace that the networks were 97%.
Yeah, I don't know much about
against
Ilhan
me. I got
Omar.
97%.
I'm sure these comments will be
And yet I
well received.
won
Yeah.
easily. I won all 7
Exhilarated.
swing states, popular, I won everything. And if they're 97% against, they give me only bad publicity or press. I mean, they're getting a license. I would think maybe their license should be taken away. It will be up to Brendan Carr. I think Brendan Carr is outstanding. He's a patriot. He loves our country, and he's a tough guy. So we'll have to see.
Why is that not a free speech issue?
When you think about this, 97% of the stories are opposed to me, and yet I win easily the election. It's pretty amazing when you think of it. That shows they have no credibility. Go ahead.
I was just going to agree with. I mean, could you use that same logic with news? If
Someone
someone's
in the old days, I remember in the old days that every 4 or 5 years, a network would reapply for its license, and the license is free. You know, they get this valuable thing for free, and they'd reapply for a license.
He's talking about the public
And if they do
broadcasting
something
stuff.
wrong, well, I beat George Stephanopoulos.
Television networks.
Slopadopoulos, I call him. George Slopadopoulos. They had to pay me $15 million for what he said. I beat CBS for much more money than that, including advertising and other things. Much more money. Because they totally changed the answer that Kamala gave on a question. I mean, they didn't change it. They took it out and put a different answer in. And they didn't want to go to court with that. That's a tough one to go to court with. So, no, I think that...
Yeah, the whole thing with Jimmy Kimmel.
Years ago, I remember as a kid...
It's a big topic today.
They would file. It was a big deal every 4 or 5 years. And I don't know, you don't hold me exact, but it was like 4 or 5 years they'd have to file for a license extension. I don't hear about that. The only
PBJ
one that I've
Nom
heard even bring it up is
What's up,
Brendan
dude?
Carr. I think Brendan Carr is doing a great job, and I think he's a great patriot.
All right, so just so everybody knows who Brendan Carr is, let's look it up. So, Brendan Carr is the chairman of the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission in the United States. And let's see. Let's do this. This way we can all have a good, clear definition of what the FCC chairman actually does, what their responsibilities are. I think that could be valuable because I don't know. I don't know what his job is, you know? I'd be curious what the answer is. Okay, so it says the chairman of the Federal Communications Commission is the chief executive officer of the agency, an independent U.S. regulatory body established by the Communications Act of 1934. The president designates one of the 5 commissioners appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate for 5-year terms to serve as chairman, with no more than 3 commissioners from the same political party to ensure bipartisanship. The role focuses on leading the FCC's mission to regulate interstate and international communications, including radio, television, wire, satellite, cable, broadband, and emerging technologies to promote competition, innovation, public safety, and efficient spectrum use. Key responsibilities and duties: to direct the overall administration of the FCC, including managing a budget and staff of approximately 1,400 while delegating day-to-day administrative tasks, establish the commission's meeting agenda, guide rulemaking processes, and shape policies on issues like broadband access, media ownership, spectrum allocation, and net neutrality and telecommunications competitions. Select the heads of the FCC's 7 bureaus. Okay, so that he appoints key leadership, including Wireless Telecommunications Bureau, Media Bureau, Enforcement Bureau, while handling licensing, enforcement, and regulatory functions. Act as the FCC's primary spokesman in interactions with Congress, the executive branch, state, local governments, and the public. Oversee legal representation and legislative advocacy. Enforce regulations and promote public interest. Influence enforcement actions such as fines for violations or license revocations, and ensure communication services advance national defense, public safety, and diversity in media ownership. Lead efforts to encourage new technologies, address consumer complaints, and conduct public hearings to evaluate policy impacts. The chairman's influence is significant but shared collegially collegially with other commissioners who vote on major decisions. The position requires balancing regulatory oversight with promoting free market principles in communications. Okay. So that is what the FCC chairman does, which I didn't know. So
What do you think about the fact that you attend an event in England, a state visit, it's spectacular,
Right.
and yet the Mayor of London can't
The House
be
Oversight?
there?
I don't
The
want
FCC is a
them. I asked
committee,
them
yeah.
not to be there. I don't want them.
let me see here. You said Kimmel also said you should be responsible for things you say. Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. Let me see here. What do you think about bringing back the Smith-Mundt Act? I don't know what that is. The Smith-Mundt Act? Let's see. What is the Smith-Mundt Act? Let's find out what that is. I've never heard of that before. The Smith-Mundt Act, formerly known as the United States Information and Educational Exchange Act of 1948, is a U.S. federal law that authorizes the government to conduct international information and cultural exchange programs, including broadcasting and media efforts aimed at foreign audiences. Its primary purpose was to promote U.S. interests abroad through propaganda and educational initiatives, while explicitly prohibiting the domestic dissemination of such materials within the United States to avoid influencing American public opinion. A key provision in the original act banned the State Department and related agencies like the Broadcasting Board of Governors from distributing their foreign targeted content to U.S. audiences, a restriction intended to prevent government propaganda from being used at home. This is amended by the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act of 2012, which took effect in 2013 and lifted the domestic ban, allowing U.S. citizens to access these materials upon request via the internet, while maintaining safeguards against active domestic propaganda campaigns. I wasn't familiar with that. I mean, it sounds good. It sounds that, you wouldn't want propaganda pushed in the United States, based on what this says. So it sounds like that'd be a good thing. But again, I don't know. This is all I know about it right here. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Let's say Obama and Biden got rid of it, allowing the media to pretty much push lies. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if it holds people accountable and it kind of puts some oversight in place, then maybe it's a good thing. I don't know.
I think the mayor of London, Khan, is among the worst mayors in the world. And we have some bad ones.
Among the worst mayors in the world.
If you look at Chicago, but I think he's the equivalent of the mayor of Chicago. I think he's done a terrible job. Crime in London is through the roof. The mayor of London, Mayor Khan, has done a terrible job. And on immigration, he's a disaster. Now, I asked that he not be there. He wanted to be there, as I understand. I didn't want him. I've not liked him for a long time. I just think, I have...
Sounds like he's not a fan of the mayor of London.
UK. My mother was born in Scotland.
You never know, so.
And when I see
Interesting.
Mayor Khan do a bad job, the stabbings and the dirt and the filth, it's not the same. No, I didn't want him there.
And the Prime Minister said to you, when I asked about, are we a Christian country, his answer was that he was christened. But he's quoted in newspapers.
Who was right?
The Prime Minister said, I was christened, he said today, this afternoon, as though that explained whether we were a Christian country. But he's actually being quoted as saying, 2 years ago, saying he was an atheist. He's a committed atheist. Is he the kind of guy that says something when you're there?
I think he's a very nice man. I really do. And his wife is nice. And, we live for a day and a half. And, the thing I most disagree, I guess I disagree with him on two things. Immigration, which is very rough.
Yeah, they got a rough situation going over there with that in respect to that.
As I said, the North Sea, if I had that...
They've been having a lot of protests, a lot of public protests over immigration in the UK right now.
The same thing we're talking about.
A lot of unrest, public unrest.
But that's a tremendous asset. So those two things. But
You got the feeling.
I get along with him great. I think he's a really fine person.
You got the feeling today that business is keen to invest in
What's
the
up,
UK?
Tim Allen's
Did
left
it not
toe? How you
feel
doing,
like
man?
that when you lived there?
Well, we made a deal with the UK, and some of those companies have made a deal with the UK, but there's always strings to the US. I help them. I want to help them. I want them to be strong as a country. I think think it's important that the UK be strong.
Yeah,
And
that's fair. I
we're
think
so
the UK should be strong too.
financially that we can get people to do other things.
Is Trevor trying to talk to you about Ukraine? Did the Prime Minister talk to you about Ukraine? He indicated he did.
Andrew?
What were his arguments for what you should
Do I know how the troops are doing in Chicago or other areas?
That I caught Europe,
I don't.
NATO countries, EU countries. You can call it either way because they're very similar. But
I mean,
caught
I know that right now, like the State Department and ICE and I think maybe National Guard are up in Chicago, conducting, immigration enforcement and stuff like that up there. I know they're kind of cracking down on a lot of the major cities for immigration and things of that nature, from what I've been reading.
them buying oil from Russia. And he said, that's not good. I mean, I appreciated that he said that. He said that's not
Yeah,
good.
I've never been to
How
Chicago,
about
so
that?
I don't know. I mean,
We're supposed to do all this stuff, and they're buying oil from Russia. That's not good. Do you agree? That's about pretty much all we do.
Did he say that he would be
I'd
open
like to
to?
have him do something. But he also agrees they have to stop buying oil from Russia.
Did he say that they would also be willing to do sanctions? That he would be willing to do sanctions
That
on
he
Russia?
would do sanctions, yes. And he's not one of the culprits in terms of the oil from Russia.
You're near DC, so you're glad there's no crime there now. So it has. You've seen it visibly improve.
What is your response to that?
It's just violence, and it's violence that you don't have to have. Look, in D.C., we took one of the most dangerous cities in the world. And you can walk down, you can take your husband,
Tim Allen.
your boyfriend, your girlfriend,
I don't know. It's a good question.
whoever you want to take. You can take them out to dinner tonight in D.C., and you're going to be safe. It's really safe. We did a great job. We're going to do the same job in Memphis.
Giant angry
We're going
ginger.
to Chicago.
You live in Chicago?
And I told you, the head of the Union Pacific, who's a great gentleman, a great business.
I have a lot of friends that live in Chicago too, and I mean they like it there. I don't know what it's like living there. I've never been to Chicago, so I just don't know. I mean, all I know is based on like what I see in the media or what I see in videos and stuff like that. So tough to say.
Started as a low-level railroad. He calls himself a railroader. It's a cool story. 45 years later, he's the chairman of the Union Pacific. He said, sir, you have to save Chicago. It's a great city. You can't let it go. And when he said that, I said, I don't really have time to wait a couple of months.
She said she almost used to get mugged
Last
down there.
weekend, they
I've been down there.
lost
It's been
11
better.
people were murdered, and 28 people were shot. That's not shot at. That means actually hit. 100 were shot at and missed. That's what I call dangerous. And Pritzker's going out and saying, we've got crime under control. Now, it went down a little bit because for 5 months ago, I put the FBI there. They've done a good job. But that's limited what they can
The
do.
south side of Chicago.
What you really need is a
Yeah,
big,
that's what I've
strong
heard too.
soldier.
South side of Chicago is kind of
Get 'em
tough,
into
kind of a
shape.
rough spot.
We're not letting Chicago fail. And we're going to get started in Memphis. We'll be very successful. Just like we were in D.C.
They're sending
And we're gonna have to
federal
stay in D.C. for a while because,
law
you
enforcement to Memphis too.
leave, people have a tendency to come back. Now remember, we took 1,500 people out of there, pretty permanently out of there. We took career criminals, really bad murderers and other things. We took them out of D.C. They're not coming back. You don't take them. If they come back, you're just wasting your time. So we took them out and they're not coming back. We brought many of them back to the country from which they came. What Biden did to our country is it's not believable. And to me, that's worse than the inflation he caused. It's worse what he did to our country by allowing 25 million people, which is the real number, to come in, many of whom should never be here, by emptying jails into our country and emptying mental institutions into our country. What Biden and his people, because I don't even think it was him, I think he didn't know what was happening. But what that radical left group of people did to our country will never be forgotten. Okay, have a good trip, everybody.
One more.
Just one
Who would
last
you like
question.
to see replace Kimmel?
Who?
Who would you like to see replace Kimmel on late night?
Well, a lot of people, anybody could replace him. The guy had no talent. Kimmel had.
You know what's funny is the vice president made a joke about that, I think, earlier. Let me see if I can find it. It was kind of funny. He said, Everyone, please congratulate Marco Rubio, the new host of ABC's Late Night Show. It's so ridiculous, dude. He's just like, man, that was probably one of the funniest things I've seen him post in a while. Like that was pretty funny. Like you have to admit, like I don't care who you are, like that's funny as hell. The vice president posted from his official vice president of the United States account, making a joke about Marco Rubio being the new host of ABC's Late Night Show. So that's pretty funny. I just remember seeing that. That was a good one. So, anyway, let's finish this out here.
Look, he was fired. He had no talent. He's a whack job.
Shane, what's up, bro?
No talent, and more importantly than talent, he had no. Because a lot of people have no talent, they get ratings, but he had no ratings. His ratings were worse than Colbert, I think. They got rid of Colbert, which was a good thing to do. And look, that's something
about Jimmy
that should
Kimmel.
be talked about for licensing too. When you have a network and you have evening shows, and all they do is hit Trump. That's all they do. If you go back, I guess they haven't had a conservative on in years or something, somebody said. But when you go back and you take a look, all they do is hit Trump. They're licensed. They're not allowed to do that. They're an arm of the Democrat Party. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good flight.
Yeah.
Fly safely. You know why I say that? Because I'm on the flight.
I want to get home.
Otherwise, I wouldn't care.
Can we just
Oh my
talk about
God.
how beautiful all the women looked last night? Caroline and your wife and
Well, I'm not
Catherine,
allowed to
Dunlap.
say that
You
politically
are.
because it could be the end of my
Give me
career.
permission to say it.
However,
However.
I'll say it anyway. The women look beautiful. You look beautiful.
Thank
The
you.
women look really beautiful. You're right. Our superstar over here looked great.
look beautiful.
That's Caroline.
Amazing too.
Has she done a good job?
Yeah,
What did
amazing.
you eat, by the way?
Everybody was great. Even the men looked beautiful. Okay. It's hard not
Even
to
the men look
in that
beautiful.
room. That was one of the coolest rooms. That room was built for a table, but the table happened to carry 200 people. You know, it was like
What did you eat? What did you eat?
whatever the hell they served. I don't know. Whatever they served, I had.
You have a Diet Coke?
Did Melania enjoy her time with Princess
She
Kate
did.
today?
She thought she was great. I did too. I sat with her last night. Melania went with her today. She thought she was great. A very wonderful person. She went through a lot too. But hopefully that's all gone. You know, that's good. She was great. William is wonderful. I've known him from before. And I knew Charles as a prince, and I now know him as a king, and he's doing very well. Really. It was a lovely trip. And I thought the press was really nice. It was beautiful. You know, I watched.
Yeah, we'll look at that
this
stuff here in a
morning. I
sec.
watched a little bit last night. It looked so beautiful, like from a different age, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure it was very different from the United States, going to ceremonial
Thank you very
dinners
much,
there.
Everybody. Have
Thank
a good
you so
flight.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you very
President. I
much.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hmm.